everybody, and welcome to the show, The Court of Public Opinion. Pete was just reminding me how easy it is to get the podcast. Now, we've been doing the Facebook page for, I don't know what, Pete, 2 years or something?
It's heading that way.
It's getting that way. And Andy Martin came along and said, we'll put this as a podcast out there. And I am probably not Pete, but I'm new to it and still thinking about that technology because I find it mind-bogglingly amazing. You just simply Google, or you can even do it on Alexa or your little thing in the... People don't have radios anymore, apparently. They just say, hey, Google, play whatever. So you can say, hey, Google, Jeremy Cordo's podcast, and it'll come up. It's just a brave new world. Parts of it I'm in awe of. Other parts I am fearful of. Before we get into the news of the day, or the stuff of today, it's April the 5th. April 5. Douglas MacArthur, American general in World War II, the Pacific Theatre, Philippines, Korea. Not without his controversy, too. In the latter years, over Korea in particular, he had terrible arguments. He wasn't exactly the politician's general. I think most of those generals were pretty egomaniacal, egocentric. And they all, I noticed, and one of the funny things about those generals was they designed their own uniforms. You can imagine that? Almost like Hollywood. In a sense, it was Hollywood. Anyway, he died at 84 in 1964. Oh, golly. Okay. Oh, here's one to remember. How many of you have a lava lamp? Pete, have you ever seen one?
Yes, but I've never owned one.
No, I've never owned one either. You will not find one in the garage, but I do see them come up at auction. They're there at Scammell's from time to time, and Small and Whitfield and all the other auction places. A lava lamp. Lava lamp. 1965. Patented or launched or whatever. How would you patent a lava lamp? I don't know. Charlton Heston, the American actor, The Ten Commandments, Ben-Hur, Planet of the Apes. He was also in a fantastic movie called The Omega Man, which was about sort of the end of the world. It was actually about a pandemic. Anyway, he dies at 84. A great gun collector, Pete. He was a great supporter of the rights of American people to own guns. Not the crazy Americans, you understand. He died in 2008. What else? 2 Libyans suspected of bringing down Pan Am Flight 103 in 1988 are handed over for eventual trial in the Netherlands this day in 1999. Spencer Tracy, American actor, Woman of the Year, Adam's Rib, the African Queen. He was born in 1900 and he died in 1967. The great Spencer Tracy. He underplayed everything he ever did, but so well. Membership of Hitler's Youth becomes obligatory. 1939. So if you weren't a member of Hitler's Youth, and with all the stigma that would remain with that membership for as long as you lived, I don't know what they did to you, but I'm sure it wouldn't have been, yes, it would have been something like that. No deserters here. No objectors, no conscientious objectors. Howard Hughes, the American reclusive billionaire filmmaker, author. He dies at 72 in 1976. He was a great aviator as well. Steve Irwin's Crocodile Hunter debuts in 1997. The British monarch, Queen Elizabeth II, makes an address to the nation. We will meet again. We will meet again, is what she said. For only the 5th time in her 65-year reign, 2002. Was it that it was her first address, or was it that she said, we'll meet again? It's not clear. Gregory Peck, the American actor, To Kill a Mockingbird, Roman Holiday, The Guns of Navarone, MacArthur, he played MacArthur, speaking of General MacArthur. He was born in 1916 and he died in 2003. Firestone Tire and Rubber Company starts producing inflatable tires. Who would have thought? Golly! That was in 1923. Bette Davis, I loved Bette Davis. Betty Davis eyes. Weren't those eyes wonderful? They just were wonderful. I was in love with Betty Davis for years, probably still am. American actress of Human Bondage, Jezebel, All About Eve. She was born in 1908 and died in 1989. I've seen a few episodes of Letterman where he had the temerity to cross swords with Betty Davis. And she could kill you with a look. Just kill you with a look. It's amazing. If you want to Google some fun stuff, if you Google, it's on YouTube, I think, David Letterman interviewing Betty Davis. I think he was totally out of his depth, bewildered, bewitched and bewildered, actually. Betty Davis. Anthony Eden succeeds Winston Churchill as Prime Minister in 1955, Prime Minister of the UK. A nice guy. I can't call him a friend, but I spoke to him many times. Gene Pitney, American vocalist and songwriter. Town Without Pity, Hello Mary Lou, He's a Rebel. He dies of a heart attack at just 66 years old back in 2006. Whenever he came to town, whenever he came to Adelaide, he would ring me up at the radio station and we'd get together. Yes. Record for a throw and return boomerang toss is set at 121 metres. 1986. And Lily James, American actress, Cinderella. Oh, she was in The Darkest Hour. She played Churchill's secretary in The Darkest Hour. So I remember that. She was born in 1989. 1989. I've got ties older than that. Not that I wear many ties. People don't wear ties anymore. It's not the sort of formal place in the world anymore, really. The Mayflower sets sail for Plymouth, Massachusetts, on a return trip to England. This is 1621. Colin Powell, American general, first black U.S. Secretary of State, 1937, dies 2021. They always said he would make a great president. I agree with that. He would have made a great president. Colin Powell. Earth's first contact with the extraterrestrial Vulcan species in Star Trek takes place on this day in 2063. Make of that what you will. Oh yeah, the other thing, we were talking about yesterday, the business of homes, a house being a human right. And I found this, you know, this is. I mean, I must admit it's scary. I can't say, though, that when I bought my first house, and I've done no heroics in my life, yet I started out as a ward of Legacy. one of two sons to a widowed mother. She was on a war widow's pension, but a great uncle, a very kind uncle, my mother's brother, who put us through private school. But the struggle, I don't think, was any greater then than it is now, or any greater now than it was then. It's always a struggle. But the business of buying a house is just so fundamental. You'll always make more money, I think, out of owning your own home and using that perhaps as collateral to do other things as you move through life. Superannuation included. Not that superannuation is bad, but gee, you've got to keep it in perspective. Homes, bricks and mortar, are a fantastic investment, and the sooner, and I tell my own kids this, the sooner you get your foot on that rung of the ladder, the better. But I saw this, which is interesting. The hardest suburbs to buy a house in Australia, hardest suburbs, with one having 536 potential buyers per listing. Wow. Do you know where that place is? That suburb? Adelaide. Adelaide. Mind you, it's not the sort of accolade that Sydney or Melbourne would probably want. Upper Sturt in Adelaide. I'll read you this quickly. The most in-demand suburbs for buyers in Australia have been unveiled as the market continues to lag across the board. The insight comes as part of PropTrack's latest figures, which show where homes have as many as 500 potential buyers battling for each property. Numbers from the real estate appraiser reveal some of the suburbs have seen demand surge as sellers across the country hesitate about putting their houses on the market. You know, supply and demand, yeah. The most in-demand suburbs nationally for houses include Upper Sturt in Adelaide, with 536 potential buyers per listing. Kangaroo Ground in Melbourne, with 484. Medindi in Adelaide, that's another, 477 potential buyers per listing. And Summertown, 328 people scrambling for the same property, again, in Adelaide. Isn't that interesting? But as I say, it's a struggle. But it's a struggle, worth it, worth having, worth winning. Oh yes, your Medicare card and your driver's license can all be on your telephone or your smartphone. Never understood that. Don't you honestly think that's going to expose us and the whole system to scammers and hackers and fraudsters all over the place? This twit, and I don't mean to be disrespectful, but this guy, Bill Shorten, he says, just imagine how convenient it will be for you not to have to carry your driver's license or your Medicare card. Not only convenient to you, of course, but all the crooks in the world. I'm sorry, Bill. And when the electricity gets so expensive that you can't afford to plug your mobile phone in to recharge it, what are you going to do then? What are you going to do then? Now, this is an interesting one. It's one that I've had lurking in the back of my mind, nagging away for quite some time. How dangerous is AI, artificial intelligence? You know that movie that Stanley Kubrick did called A Space Odyssey 2001 with the computer, which was, Pete, do you remember what the computer's name was?
I never saw the film.
No, I must admit I didn't see it either. But the computer was called Harold or something. But that's immaterial to the story. Eventually the computer, with its artificial and superior intelligence, took charge, made decisions, and controlled everything. And I don't believe it was a happy ending. Artificial intelligence is dangerous. So says Apple and Elon Musk. And a lot of other big, heavy hitters in the IT world. 23 of them, in fact. We should, according to them, call a moratorium and stop all of this before it is too late. When people like this issue a clear, unambiguous warning, we should listen. In any case, I've never understood the more automated we seem to become, and the more automated there are some people who want us to become, the fewer people we're going to employ. Now, what can be good about that? And this wire on the subject, I'll read you a little bit of this quickly, because it's a salutary warning. Silicon Valley's AI civil war. Elon Musk and Apple's Steve Wozniak say that it could signal a catastrophe for humanity. So why do Bill Gates and Google think it's okay? There is a war in Silicon Valley as two groups battle over the advancement of artificial intelligence. Elon Musk and Steve Wozniak are against it. Bill Gates and Google CEO are for it. Silicon Valley is in the midst of a civil war over the advancement of artificial intelligence, with the world's greatest minds split over whether it will destroy or elevate humanity. The growing divide comes after the extraordinary rise of this intelligence that could be totally out of our hands and then out of control within years. Look, if there is any doubt, as I said to you about this voice thing, if there is a doubt, don't. Just don't. Why experiment with it? And just quickly before I leave you, I was watching a story about flexi pipes. You know these things underneath the sinks and the bathroom vanities of millions of homes around the country? They break, and I know because it's happened to me. It's happened up at the house here. They've come up with a wonderful idea to alert you as to the leak. Now, that was the TV story, and that's okay. But from my personal experience, they don't leak. They burst. They burst. They need to be made, I think, of a different material, a little bit like the stuff they put on the sides of buildings, the flammable cladding. There should be more strict controls over the kind of things we put in our homes and on our buildings. They never should get into the country, let alone into the system. I've been watching carefully to see if there were any stories also about these lithium-ion batteries. Now, there have been stories about the appliances and scooters catching fire, and now they're talking about these massive lithium-ion storage batteries that they're promoting. Now imagine if one of those in your house went up. A potential disaster? God, yes. Then there are the problems with electric cars, which maybe, or more certainly would be, parked in your garage, under your roof, or in an apartment building, a shopping centre. An electric car with a huge lithium-ion battery in them. Now, if these people are successful in promoting electric cars and storage batteries, if it becomes more than a novelty and they're really ubiquitous and out there everywhere, are they going to give us some sort of guarantee about the insurance companies, about our ability to get insurance? Insurance companies will not insure, or if they do, they will charge very, very big premiums because of the extra risk. Frankly, ladies and gentlemen, there is a very big risk attached to anything with a lithium-ion battery in it. And the bigger the lithium-ion battery, the bigger the risk. And those batteries don't get any bigger than you will find in a car or in a storage facility. I'll leave that with you. Have a wonderful Easter, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you very much for your time. Although we will be back, Pete, tomorrow? Yeah. Today's Wednesday, so we'll be back Thursday, and we'll take Easter off. Yep. So I've wished you a happy Easter prematurely, but there's nothing wrong with that anyway. Believe in yourself. See you tomorrow. I'm Jeremy Cordo. Pete and I will be back with you soon.